Today, I would like to show you a number of examples of employee-based authentication using VeridiumID platform. In the examples today, I'll show you some very specific use cases around Windows desktop authentication and unlock. I'll show you SaaS applications, and I'll show you native applications in this instance to OS X, but equally these could be native Windows applications as well. I'll show the primary form of Veridium user authentication using strong authentication, the possession factor of the mobile phone, your mobile device, and then who you are, your biometric. And in my example, I have an iPhone with Face ID enabled. It's an iPhone 11. So I'll show you a number of different examples of how a user can authenticate themselves using nothing but their smartphone today in a passwordless way. And the first example is Windows Desktop. How do you log on to Windows Desktop? Primarily, it's with a username and a password. With Veridium, I take the Veridium mobile app installed on my phone. I scan the QR code that's on my Windows Desktop. I present my biometric, in this case, Face ID, but this could be Touch ID or anything that's native to your device. The VeridiumID server now successfully validates the user, in this case, John Spencer, issues a certificate down to the Windows desktop and successfully authenticates the user. Having logged into a Windows desktop, that's kind of, that's one stage, but what about applications? Let's take a SaaS application such as Salesforce here. How do you log into that Salesforce? Traditionally, it's with username and password. Well, we're going to change that because usernames and passwords are problematic. We forget them. They're difficult to remember. I have to phone the help desk. I have to go through a painful password reset process. So Veridium, we changed the authentication process with a simple configuration change for SAML-based applications. And guess what? We present a QR code. Same application I thought authenticated with into my Windows environment. I scan the QR code, and now it authenticates me into my Salesforce.com environment. Equally, I can take native applications, something like Skype for Business. This is Azure AD at the back end. I put my Azure username in. The same application again, which I've downloaded from the App Store. I scan the QR code, Face ID check, and subsequently I'm authenticated into my Skype for Business application. Equally, if I lock my Windows desktop, part of the problem with unlock is you traditionally have to put your username and password in, but with the Veridium architecture, same mobile app, scan the QR code, you start to get the flow here, Face ID check on the device. Veridium infrastructure now instructs the Windows environment to unlock the Windows desktop. But in an example where I have an old phone, I don't have a biometric capability built into my phone, or perhaps I don't trust biometric. Veridium also provide a capability to use non-biometric on a smartphone, or in this case, we're going to use a TOTP that's generated from the same app that I've been using traditionally with my biometric, but now you'll see I have a capability to deliver a one-time password out to the user in the Veridium application. I put my PIN code in, something I pre-registered in the environment, put my one-time password that's delivered and changes every minute of the day in the Veridium application. And the same Salesforce application you saw me authenticate with my biometric capability, I can now use a non-biometric and use a TOTP. If I have no smartphone at all, I'm unable to install applications from the store. Equally, I can sign into, and I'll give you a different example today, something like Okta, an IAM platform. I put my user account in, I click on proceed, but now rather than using TOTP, I'm going to request an SMS. I open up my SMS application or my message application on my mobile device. I put my PIN code in. It's usually PIN code that I pre-registered as part of the enrollment with Veridium. You see my SMS code has arrived, my one-time password code from the Veridium server. I type it in, I click on login, and I'm successfully authenticated into, in this case, Okta. I'll give you a final example here today. What if I have no smartphone at all? If I'm prohibited from using a smartphone in my environment, or any phone in the environment, if I work on a trading floor, if I work in certain government organizations. Veridium provided capability to use a FIDO key against our FIDO certified platform. In this instance, I'm going to log into Ping, another IAM, but this could be any of the examples that I've shown you already today. I put my username in. I select FIDO as my authentication. You'll see I've got a YubiKey with me in this particular instance today. put the YubiKey into the USB slot. Sort of very difficult using one hand, and I'm trying to show you this on a video. Get that into the slot. When this particular YubiKey, I have to touch the sensor. Having touched the sensor, the VeridiumID server validates the integrity of the key, validates that it belongs to me, and successfully authenticates me into my environment. So that showed you a number of different examples for employee-based authentication. Hopefully you found that informative. Thank you.